Hey y'all, welcome to Wake Online. We're in week 2 of our origin story series. We're talking about what it takes to be a hero. Not like a superhero per se, but a hero to your friends, your family, your community, and in the kingdom of God. So, we've been talking about superheroes, and when we do, we think about a lot of things like their powers, their outfit, their hairstyle, the fact that for some reason glasses hide their actual identity, but what is a superhero's main job? Now, there's some things we could say. You could say it's to battle strangely dressed villains who want to end the world, or to model the latest trends in latex, or to show off their superpowers, or to accidentally destroy a lot of buildings and people's lives. So, I guess superheroes do a little bit of all those things, right? But if we're to name one thing every superhero has in common, it would be this. Superheroes help people. And last week we started this new series about heroes fighting for justice. And superheroes are known for helping people, but I have some good news. You and I don't need a cape. We don't need superpowers to be known for that as well. So this dude named Terrence is making a huge difference in his community, one life at a time. Let's look at his story.
If I have to stand on a corner with a higher mark sign on until you get hired, I'm gonna do that. He thought I was playing at first, but I was dead serious.
My name is Terrence Lester, and I'm the starter and founder of an organization called Love Beyond Walls, and we're based in Atlanta, Georgia.
First of all, I met Mark about a year ago, and it's funny because he was behind our center actually digging in the dumpster. He was looking for something to eat. He was experiencing homelessness and he was depressed. And instead of calling the police or kicking him off the property, one thing that our organization likes to do is befriend people. We like to get to know people, know their stories, and know how they arrive in the place that they are right now. And so I befriended them. I basically built a relationship. I explained who I was, and I kind of told them, if you're willing, our organization would be willing to walk with you. And over the course of us getting to know each other, I learned that he didn't have an ID, he didn't have any birth certificate, or he didn't have a social security card. He literally had absolutely nothing, and he was living from abandoned house to abandoned house. And I talked to our staff and some of our board, and we all decided we had to do something. And so we started to walk with Mark, and long story short, this process of trying to, hunt down his, how do we get a birth certificate? How do we get his social security card? And we went through this whole process, and it was about a 6 to 8 month process just to even get his birth certificate. Because when you're experiencing homelessness, you need an ID to get other ID.
Hey, what's up, guys? Terrence here. Right now I'm standing in the Love Beyond Walls headquarters, and man, this piece of information came here. It's Mark's social security card, which gives him both his birth certificate and his social security card, so he'll be able to get his identification, his real ID this week. And I'm about to surprise him and show him. Mark, you are on the video! What's up, man?
What's up, everybody?
You're on the video, bro. Guess what, man?
What?
Your social security card came.
Finally! Yes, sir!
The first thing I asked him are, what are your top 3 goals? And some of his goals was like, get an ID and, get back in touch with his children and get a job so he can become self-sufficient. And, handouts are cool for our organization. We get a chance to engage a lot of people that way, but ultimately, we're in this to see lives transform. Like, how do you go from, living in an abandoned house to having your own place to stay? That's the type of transformative work that we're engaged in. And so I made him that promise. I said, man, if you give your all, I'm gonna give my all. And he did. And he endured the process. There was a lot of ups and downs. And then we finally got to a point where we got his ID, and I told him, I said, man, if I have to stand on a corner with a hire mark sign on until you get hired, I'm gonna do that. And he thought I was playing at first, but I was dead serious.
Hey, what's up, guys? Terrence here, man. We just completed day 1 of the Hire Mark campaign. We're gonna go out every single day, old school. Hey, what's up, guys? Today was a huge success. We were able to get Mark's resume into the hands of at least 10 people, and a few people have sent emails out saying they want to see his resume as well, so we're going to forward those. Hey, what's up, guys? We're walking downtown. Got my brother Mark with me. Have the Hire Mark sign on. Man, somebody saw the sign. What happened, Mark?
They saw the sign and asked me if I was looking for work, and I shared with them, yes, I am, and they asked me for a resume, passed them my resume, and then she's going to pass on my resume to the contacts in her office.
It's day 4 of Hire Mark, and I'm on the way to the Love Beyond Walls headquarters to pick up Mark, and we're going to go stand around the city more with the Hire Mark sign on. We're downtown, and Mark is over there talking to a guy that saw the sign, and he stopped and just, man, he's just encouraging Mark and basically letting them know that many people who live in this country are only one paycheck away from experiencing the same thing that he's experienced. Man, out here in the heart of the city with my brother Mark.
What's up, everybody?
Man, got on a new suit. That brother is clean. Yeah, Mark, you got your new interview today, man. Your second interview. It's gonna go well. We're all hoping. You excited?
Yes, extremely excited.
Extremely excited.
Shout out to everything that Love Beyond Walls has done for me.
Hey, what's up, guys? Terrence here from Love Beyond Walls. Man, today is day number 5 for our campaign, Hire Mark, where we are actually attempting to get my brother and friend a job. And man, little did I know I would have my friend Eldridge reach out.
What's up, people? This is Eldridge. First of all, I want to do a big shout out to D&K. We're in front of D&K Suit City, right here by Greenbrier Mall. I was sitting at home on Instagram, and I seen the campaign. It was just like, Hire Mark. And I'm like, bruh, let's do it.
The funnest interview was this interview with D&K Suit City, because, you know, the day before he had the interview with this company, they actually allowed him to go into the store and pick out 2 suits. They heard about the store and they were like, you know, what better way to furnish somebody than to furnish them with some clean suits to just go into the interviews and be sharp.
Hey, what's up, guys? Good news. What's up, Sam?
How you doing, man?
What's up?
Yeah, hey, man, what's up?
What's up, Eldridge?
Yo.
Welcome to the newest team member of D&K Fashions, Suit City and Greenbrier Mall location, the best suit store on the planet.
Support him.
Yeah, this brother just got hired, man. Celebrate.
One of the things that the Hire Mark sign did was it brought attention to his story, which was what we were wanting it to do. We wanted people to ask, what does Hire Mark mean? During this campaign of just wearing a sign and walking with my brother, man, we were able to raise enough funds to get him his own space.
Hey, what's up, man? Terrence here with my boy Mark. Mark, what's going on today?
What's up, everybody? Just moving in today, y'all. Temporary place to stay until I get something more permanent. Appreciate everyone's support.
So now he has his own rooming space, and he's working, and he's no longer staying in abandoned houses. And it's campaigns like that that not only bring attention to issues that we should all care about 365 days of the year, but it gives people an opportunity to say, how can I leverage my talents, my gifts, my networks, whatever I have, whatever resource I have to bring restoration to a man's life that has been broken down.
So Terrence and his team at Love Beyond Walls didn't have any superhuman skills or talents, but they did something heroic for Mark. I mean, how many of you would support your friends that much? Here comes like the Dora the Explorer part of our time today. So what did you notice about that? What stuck out to you in Mark and Terrence's story? 1, Mark needed a home. He needed new clothes, a license, a social security card, a birth certificate, and even more than that. And Terrence saw a need and stepped in. He started where he was and used what he had to do what he could. Sound familiar? Before Terrence and Love Beyond Walls, why do you think no one else helped care about or for Mark? Why do you think people sometimes believe helping others is a waste of time? What do you think Terrence gained as a result of helping Mark? What words would you use to describe Terrence? And here's the kicker. Are they the same words you'd use to define yourself? When we hear a story like this one, we're often moved. There's something so inspiring about seeing people do heroic things for each other. Terrence didn't even save the entire world, but he made a dramatic difference in one person's life. He saw one person in danger and gave his attention to him for one little bit of his life. And Jesus, of course, did the same thing. He did save the entire world, but that's not all he did. He showed heroic love, kindness, and care to specific people, and he told us to do the same. And on the last night before Jesus was arrested and sentenced to death, here's the conversation that he had with his disciples. Just before the Passover feast, Jesus knew that the time had come to leave this world and go to the Father. Having loved his dear companions, he continued to love them right to the end. It was supper time. The devil by now had Judas, son of Simon the Iscariot, firmly in his grip, all set up for betrayal. And Jesus knew that the Father had put him in complete charge of everything, that he came from God and was on his way back to God. So he got up from the supper table, set aside his robe, and put on an apron. And then he poured water into a basin and began to wash the feet of the disciples, drying them with his apron. And when he got to Simon Peter, Peter said, "Master, you wash my feet?" And Jesus answered, "You don't understand now what I'm doing, but it will be clear enough to you later." And Peter persisted, "You're not washing my feet. You're not going to wash my feet ever." And Jesus said, "If I don't wash you, you cannot be part of what I'm doing." "Master," says Peter, "not only my feet then, wash my hands, wash my head." Jesus said, "If you've had a bath in the morning, you only need your feet washed now, and you're clean from head to toe." Hear that, junior hires? My concern, you understand, is holiness, not hygiene. So now you're clean, but not every one of you. He knew who was betraying him. That's why he said, not every one of you. And after he had finished washing their feet, he took his robe, he put it back on, and he went back to his place at the table. And then he said, "Do you understand what I have done to you? You address me as teacher and master, and rightly so. That is what I am. So if I, the master and teacher, washed your feet, you must now wash each other's. I've laid down a pattern for you, and what I've done, you should do. I'm only pointing out the obvious. A servant is not ranked above his master. An employee doesn't give orders to the employer. If you understand what I'm telling you, act like it. Live a blessed life." This moment was revolutionary for two reasons. The disciples' feet would have been pretty gross. They didn't have closed-toed shoes like we do today, and they did a lot of walking in dust, dirt, and animal droppings. It wasn't very sanitary. Jesus wasn't a friend serving his peers. Jesus was their respected and honored rabbi, their teacher, their mentor, their leader. To have him take the role of a servant and wash their feet would have been embarrassing and uncomfortable and wrong, but washing his disciples' feet was Jesus' way of caring for them, serving them, and teaching them something very important. Even before his greatest act of selfless love, dying on the cross, Jesus modeled love on a smaller scale by washing the disciples' feet. And that same night, Jesus said something else to his disciples. He said, "Let me give you a new command. Love one another. And in the same way I've loved you, you need to love one another. This is how everyone will recognize that you are my disciples, when they see you love one another." Jesus, our hero, taught love and care for others, but he modeled it too. And Jesus spoke those words knowing exactly what was about to happen to him. He was going to be arrested. He was going to be falsely accused and murdered. He was going to do it all out of love for ordinary people like you and me. For Jesus, these weren't empty words. He showed his love and care for people through small acts of care like washing dirty feet and huge acts of sacrifice too, like getting brutally tortured, then dying on our behalf. We may never have to literally lay down our lives for others, but we can be heroic when we love and care for others like Jesus did. A moment of my life comes to mind when I think of this. I was in high school. We took a mission trip to Mexico, and it was amazing, and I loved every second of it, but there's one memory that sticks out from the whole trip. Well, two. One is that I saw the biggest chicken I've ever seen in my life. It had to be 6 feet tall. And two is this. One night we were worshiping after a long day, and we were outside, and it was beautiful, and none of us had showered yet, and we'd all been working super hard, and we're really dirty and tired, and all of a sudden the adult leaders of our trip got out some water, some rags, and some basins. And my small group leader, Jason Barton, who we loved to call Bald Jason, because he was, you guessed it, bald, started washing my feet. We talked about our lives and how he's seen me grow and how God is working in our lives and how much my face itches right now. And I remember thinking at this point, wow, I'm really loved and celebrated by this guy. I'm not just tolerated like I sometimes feel I am at home. And that night changed my life. I wanted to continue the life of servanthood that God and Jason both showed me on that experience. On those trips to Mexico and Jamaica and New Orleans and other places, men like these in my life who wanted to invest in me, they're my heroes. They're the Terrence to my Mark. They're the reason I'm here with you all today. It starts with just one little bit of serving who is in front of you. Jason Barton, Jason Johnston, Josh Moser, Anthony Munson, Todd Moss, Mark Lukey, Jason Hill, Shane Hively, Andrew Beal, Jared Chrisman, Ryan Massey, Greg Riddle, Hank Fortner, Trevor Small, Russ Johnson, Brian Likens, Sean Case, and Frank Crockett were my heroes growing up. All because of the time they took to invest in me from 6th grade on and invest in other people with Christ at the center of it. Whether it was teaching me at camp and eventually letting me serve there, or teaching me at church and trusting me with younger students there, or going on and eventually helping lead a mission trip, or pushing me to play in the worship band, pointing me in the direction that they believed I could go and achieve, encouraging me. Literally wrestling me, or just being there when everything fell down around me, washing my feet in a hut in Mexico. So they all loved me unconditionally, sacrificially, with a servant's heart, and some of them probably don't even know the impact they had on me. Their decisions following God's decision to love me sacrificially reminds me to love others unconditionally. But the love we're talking about isn't just about buying someone a nice gift or doing a simple task for them. The love we're talking about is deeper. It's not about doing something for someone so you get something in return. It's sacrificial. See, Jesus didn't care for people to be flashy or to show off his power. He cared for people to show them the depth of his love. Jesus didn't hold back his kindness until he had a crowd to watch or a friend to film it for social media. Jesus cared for the people in front of him with no agenda or reward. That's Jesus. And in the same way, Jesus historically cared for the people in front of him. He tells us to do the same. Because heroes care for the people in front of them. So what does this look like for us? Are we supposed to wash our friends' gross feet like Jesus did? Like Jason did for me? Should we find someone experiencing homelessness and try and find them a job like Terrence did? Let's talk about a few real-life scenarios that you might experience. And then maybe I'll share some things I learned, all right? It's easy, okay? Wherever you are, be aware of people you can see. Be aware that needs surround you, okay? Knowing that many of those needs will be small and hard to spot. Jesus once asked his disciples, don't you have eyes to see? Don't you have ears to hear? When we overlook the needs of the people who are right in front of us, I wonder if Jesus asks us that question too. Here are a few ways that you can see more clearly. And it starts with this. Smile at someone who's alone. Don't be creepy though. Don't be like weird, like, hey, what's up, girl? Don't do that. Just smile. Comfort them. Surprise someone by asking how their day is going and actually caring. Give someone something they need, like your coat or gloves on a cold day, a pen or a meal. And this always reminds me of Dumb and Dumber when Harry and Lloyd ride to Aspen on a mini bike and they freeze and they're holding on to each other like frozen like this. And then Harry realized that Lloyd had 2 pairs of gloves the whole time and he definitely should have given Harry the gloves. Anyway, that's just what comes to mind. Why don't you ask someone a question about themselves and then really listen to their answer? Pay attention to how other people are feeling. That's weird to do, right? We don't really do that. But if you can see someone hurting or angry, see if you can make them feel better. You might try to just make them laugh or give them advice or simply sit and be with them. You can do what I do when girls in Wake are upset, and you can run to the freezer and get ice cream, okay? It doesn't help, but it might later. I don't know. If you want to do a better job of caring for the people in front of you, there are 4 words I want to teach you. Awareness is the first one. Like we just discussed, the first step in caring for the people in front of us is to be aware of them and their needs. The second one is this, listening. Okay? If we want to care for people in front of us, we must actively listen to the things they say. Okay, boys? We're bad at it. Interpretation. If we want to care for the people in front of us, we have to think about how our words can be interpreted, and not only about what we meant by the words that we said. And the last one is sensitivity. If we want to care for the people in front of us, we must be sensitive to experiences and perspectives that we do not fully understand. Sometimes our hearts might be right, but our mouths aren't. Write those down. Put them somewhere you can look at them and be reminded. Sometimes the most heroic things we can do are the smallest but most meaningful things. Things like having dinner with someone, sitting around a fire, or even washing the feet of a filthy, sweaty 16-year-old. We don't need to have superpowers to change the world, but we do need to be willing to care for others like Jesus has cared for us, because heroes care for the people in front of them. So this week, who are you going to care for?
Standing here in your presence, in a grace so relentless, I am won by perfect love, wrapped within the arms of heaven, in a peace that lasts forever, sinking deep in mercy seas. I'm wide awake, drawing closer by grace, and all my heart is yours. All fear removed, I breathe you in, I lean into your love. Oh, your love. When I'm lost, you pursue me. Lift my head to see your glory, Lord. by grace, and all